and let us all do we can to build a better future. Voters are leaving the Democratic Party in mass. Voters are leaving. And corporate media is about to intensify the censorship because they want to let everyone know that Trump, oh no, the orange boogeyman, woogie boogie boogie, is going to destroy democracy. Look, I said this on the show, and I'm going to keep on saying, I don't care. I don't care if Trump gets reelected. I don't care. No matter how the election night turns out in November of 2024, I'm going to speak on all of Hard Lens Media here, the whole team. We're just going to be like, okay, and all right, tomorrow's a whole new day. Now, as for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice little ribeye steak, glass of wine, have good side dishes, eat and enjoy. The only thing I'm hoping for is that third parties do gain some ground and at least get recognized, because that goes for the Greens and the Libertarians, and to some extent, yes, even the two independent candidates that are running too. I've been a pro third-party independent supporter on this show. Am I happy with the current roster of third-party candidates? And do I look? Maybe I have a higher standard. I'm tired of being disappointed, folks. I'm tired of it because now, hey, look, MSNBC is saying third parties are a threat. They're a real threat. Hang on, let's play it. Brace yourself.
And you were telling, that some of these young voters you talked to were bringing up unsolicited the name of RFK Jr. What do they think about him? What do they say about him? Why do they like him if they do?
Well, they think that he's different than the other two parties at this point, right? That's what they think. And he is clearly a conspiracy theorist, but he's also, I think, a political tactician who understands the vulnerabilities in the electorate, the vulnerabilities within the Democratic Party, and is aiming his message directly at them. If you don't have a place in either party, he's saying, look at me. And at this point, it's a year out. People are looking at him. It's dangerous, I think, for our democracy.
Is there a sense as to why young Democrats would be interested in Robert Kennedy Jr. besides the last name? I mean, he's a vaccine conspiracy theorist. He holds some really out there views on a number of positions. Certainly those in the Biden camp that I talked to, yes, they're worried about Cornel West. They're worried about Jill Stein. They're worried about Joe Manchin. But they also think most of those are going to drop out because they don't want to be seen as helping elect Trump.
That's my fear, that these third-party candidates will drop out because they'll fall or they'll be afraid of the Trump derangement syndrome. Now, Sabby brought it up perfectly on her show. Shout out to Sabrina. How third-party candidates are getting more coverage on the media than the Democratic primary challengers like Representative Phillips, Marianne Williamson, and another guy. Name escapes me. Fat Tony. Jenk. Because tonight they're hosting that third Democratic response to the forced GOP debate. So, yes, it's going to be on TYT. I might talk about that tomorrow. I don't know. I might. Maybe yes. Maybe no. I don't know. I just don't know. But the point is, Trump derangement syndrome is being turned up to 11 in the media because the Democrats know they have lost Latino voters, Black voters, Muslim voters, Arab voters, Jewish voters, young people, the LGBTQ community, women voters. They're losing voters in general. Let's continue on.
Kennedy, they have less of a feel over. Some of them might think he might hurt Trump more, but your findings disagree?
Within this cohort, absolutely. And Jonathan, I also looked at a variety of data points of the last several years. And every electorate, we have a different composition of the youth vote. The 18 to 24-year-old young men, they are far more likely to identify as conservative or Republican than the young men just a cycle ago. This is the post-COVID, Joe Rogan, Barstool Sports,
Oh, okay. Joe Rogan's a bad guy. Tucker Carlson's a bad guy. Jimmy Dore's a bad guy. Hard Lens Media, Kit Cabell, the king is nuts, is a bad guy. Jackson Hinkle, bad guy. Everyone at Revolution Blackout Network, bad, evil people. Oh my goodness, dissidents, the double duo, danger, evil. Look, folks, let's be clear here, okay? Corporate media knows that they can't control the narrative, so they're quickly to deflect and vilify people. They're going to vilify you, the voter, because you're not falling in line voting for the Democrats. What has the Democratic Party offered you? And before any liberals start typing in the comment section, oh, you just like bad-mouthing Democrats. Well, because the Democrats got a shield wall and they put on this fancy mask of neoliberalism that, prevents them from being criticized? I know what to expect from Republican lawmakers. All right, you want to watch a show that's going to badmouth Republican politicians? Yes, and we have called them out, but it's low-hanging fruit. You, the audience, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I'm pretty sure all of you, 10 out of 10, could come up with more clever jokes about these jag-off Republican politicians than I could. Okay? There you go. I know what to expect, but these Democrats have the audacity to start bullying you and cause you to be afraid and depressed and scared because, oh no, Trump is going to run for president. We saw this coming after 2024. I would be surprised if he didn't run in 2024. We saw this happening in 2020. Sorry, I meant to say we saw this going to happen after 2020, that he was going to run again in 2024. I'd be surprised if he didn't. And here he is running, and he is doing phenomenally well against all the other Republican candidates. Like GOP donors have abandoned high heel cowboy Ron DeSanctimonious, and they're going all in for Nikki. That's not her name, Haley. Let's talk about third parties because, oh no, it turns out third parties are also being silenced. TikTok just removed this as misinformation. What's up, TikTok? How's keeping Biden challengers off the ballot not rigging the primary? Because, yeah, turns out the Democratic Party is openly rigging its primary in Florida. It's come from Marianne Williamson, of all people. Well, Marianne, Jank, Representative Phillips, have you not played Fallout New Vegas? The DNC, they're going to tell you like this as they point that 6-shooter at you. The game was rigged from the start, baby. Let's talk about more from Case Study QB. Let's talk about, because, hey, what third parties are a threat? Well, the Democratic Party isn't doing itself any favors. I know it's from Fox News, but bear with me. It'll be short and quick.
In 2021, President Biden called Georgia's election law changes new Jim Crow laws that were antithetical to who we are. They imposed voter identification requirements, limited use of drop boxes, and gave state officials more power over local elections. And then in 2022, Georgia did have record turnout, but you had argued from the podium that there was voter suppression. Does the White House still believe that that was true?
I don't have anything else to add from what I stated last time.
So does the Florida party then effectively canceling the Democratic primary also constitute voter suppression?
I can't speak.
Why not?
You have to speak to the campaign or the DNC.
Yeah. Way to defend your case, Democrats. Really, seriously. You guys just like to lose on purpose. Because look, here. Muslim leaders launch abandoned Biden campaign. It's not third parties' fault that voters are leaving the Democrats. 50% of the U.S. population identifies itself as independent.
Let me ask about the Muslim leaders across 7 swing states that are withdrawing their support from President Biden because he's refused to call for a ceasefire. The White House is maintaining its support for Israel, of course. But yesterday, Vice President Harris issued a very strong statement against the relocation of Palestinians from Gaza. Don, how big a problem is this going to be for the Biden campaign? Is the administration striking a balance well enough when it comes to this issue?
Yeah, they're in a very tough position, and they're striking the best rhetorical balance possible, from my view, since October 7th. Now, what we have to remember here is that any operation of campaign side, particularly a Democratic operation, is about offsetting the voters you lose by bringing new people into the process. So they've got to focus on remembering and finding out who turned 18 since the last election, and they've got to be able to make up for the progressives we will lose, like these Muslim citizens.
Well, no. Why would they want to turn up and vote? Listen, Gen Z, especially to the younger voters, right? Look, it's important to be very critical and look at everything that's been happening before you, right? Now, boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Z, we're all in the same boat here. The ship is sinking and we got to get to shore here. But the Democratic Party doesn't have your best interests, all right? They have not followed through with their promises. That's on them, not us. That's on them. They're the ones that caused this. Case in point, no pun intended, get another video from Case Study QB who's wrongly being censored. Because look, Democrats, what? You're going to blame Latino voters now too?
It's a state that's gone for Democrats in the past 4 presidential elections, but now it could be completely up for grabs. And a lot of that has to do with who now populates the state. CNN's John King spoke with Latino voters in Nevada. And John, Latino voters make up 30% of Nevada's population. How are they feeling about 2024?
A lot of them, Jake, are shopping, and that simple fact is not good news for President Biden. Look, Hillary Clinton won the state by just over 2 points. Joe Biden won the state by just over 2 points. It would not take much of a swing in the Latino vote to tip it back to red. Nevada used to be red back when I started doing this a long time ago. Since Barack Obama came on the scene, it has gone blue. But listen to voters like Antonio Munoz. He's a veteran. He served 16 years as a police officer. Now he has his own restaurant in Las Vegas. He says he's an independent, and he wants to shop around. Hispanics.
As he should. It's his right. It's your constitutional right. It's your right as a free citizen, while you still can be free, to vote whoever you want. If you're going to vote third party or independent, that third party candidate, that independent candidate, be they green, libertarian, socialist, or independent, whoever, they're not in the corner saying, I stole your vote. No, you are freely giving them your vote because they probably maybe showed themselves to you that, hey, I can align with this candidate and their values. But Democratic and Republican politicians, though, want to hypnotize you and cause you to be afraid, to hide, to be scared. Remember when there was that old story of Americans being brave, U.S. citizens being brave and courageous, making their own free choices? Yeah. The politicians and the media don't want you to think like that anymore. I don't care how you vote. In fact, I hope you all tune in with us on election night. You know, everyone's welcome. All independents, Trump supporters, hey, come on in. You'll love hanging out with us. And yes, liberal Democrats too. Why not? It'll be a whole hodgepodge. Everyone will be crying, moaning, and screaming. It'll be like, oh no, will my candidate win or not? I'll just be there eating a ribeye steak. So be like Kit. Be like Hardlands me. Just accept, just vote on that day, and then just carry on with anything else you got to do. That's how it's going to be. But this whole idea of your vote belonging to a party is so clownish. No, your vote is your vote, and you can do with it whatever you want to do. Even if you don't want to vote, guess what? That's your right to do.
We're a small slice of Nevada's population when Munoz was a boy who admired Ronald Reagan. More than 30% now.
It's amazing the political power the Hispanics are creating here in the state of Nevada.
This is a state that's gone Democrat in the last several presidential elections, but if you look at it today, it's right there, 50-50. Valeria Gurr is one reason why.
Our vote has been taken for granted.
A former Democrat who worked for the teachers union.
How'd you do today? Good.
Now a Republican with one defining issue. Your son is how old?
He's 6.
And you won't send him to the public schools?
I won't.
Why?
Because I work with Hispanic families for 15 years here, and I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand how, teachers have classrooms that are overcrowded. They can barely get to them. I will vote for the candidate that support my views on a school choice.
In 2020, that was Donald Trump with reservations.
I will never condone racist comments towards my community, if that's the question.
Now, Gurr hopes the GOP makes a new choice.
I like Ron DeSantis simply because what he has done in Florida. I personally would love to see Nikki Haley to have another.
That's not her name.
Mom in the White House as support school choice.
Inflation and interest rates worries Zoila Sanchez.
So I also want to bring up black voters too, because voters in general are leaving the Democratic Party, but they want to vilify third party candidates. I'll play this video from Glenn Greenwald. Let's play it for the people.
It's always been an interesting question. Why do those people who have done...
Because, yes, it's not only people who want to vote independent, but former Democratic voters and other voting bases are looking at the GOP. It's my job on this show to give commentary and analysis. And let's face it, the Biden-Harris administration have not followed through with their promises. They just assumed all of you would be happy and just go back to ignoring life. Just doing the job and keeping your head down and just being happy that Trump was gone. Well, guess what? Corporate media and vote blue no matter who. Donald Trump, oh no, he's back. And he's come back with a vengeance like I knew he would. And listen, if his campaign doesn't come together with some banger campaign videos, there's plenty of political ammunition that he could do and use against the Democrats. And he would be stupid and foolish if he tried to play it safe like he did in 2020. And independents, third-party candidates, Greens, Libertarians, Dr. Cornel West and RFK Jr. if you don't come out swinging against the Democrats, then you're wasting my time. Seriously. But my disappointment, or either that my high standards have not been met by the independents, but that's a story for another day.
Done the most to destroy the image of our country, the standing of it, who have the most amount of blood on their hands, who lie so frequently, who embrace authoritarianism. Why are those people the ones who most hate and fear Trump? To the point where they completely transformed into the opposite politically of what they were. And why are they now the leaders, the thought leaders, the most popular pundits for American liberalism? And what we've seen over the last week is this incredible theater where they've all decided they're going to read from the same script. They ran to all the corporate media outlets, the biggest ones in the United States, that hired them in the wake of all those lies. And they use those newspapers to send out the same script, almost verbatim, about how Donald Trump is Hitler. We know that everybody in American discourse who you're supposed to hate immediately gets turned into the new Hitler.
Everyone keeps on saying, like, yes, Trump is worse than Hitler. You know, when I hear people say that, you know, I think it's like, well, gee, so you're saying Hitler's better than this guy? Horrible. To quote the Joker, as soon as when the Dark Knight said to him, hey, let her go. And Joker's like, horrible choice of words there. And it's like, Joker, let her go. Like, come on. Horrible choice of words there. Oh, he's worse than Hitler. Sorry, he's saying Hitler's better than this guy? What? Vote blue no matter who. If I see any of you run with that, I'm going to put that Joker meme up right underneath your page. And I had the Joker say, oh, horrible choice of words there. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Rest in peace.
It was done to Saddam Hussein and Bashar al-Assad and Ahmadinejad in Iran and Vladimir Putin in Russia, now Hamas, and of course Donald Trump and any Republican politicians who in any way are attentive to the populist wing of that party rather than to its establishment wing. The obvious proximate cause for this panic that neocons are all the polls showing that Joe Biden is in very serious trouble heading into 2024, and Donald Trump is stronger than ever. One of the polls that most triggered this kind of hysteria was this New York Times poll from November 5th. Trump leads in 5 critical states as voters blast Biden. The New York Times Siena poll finds. And it said voters in battleground states said they trusted Donald J. Trump over President Biden on the economy, foreign policy, and immigration, as Mr. Biden's multiracial base shows signs of fraying. And here you see the graph showing that Trump is now clearly ahead in 5 of the 6 swing states, all of which Joe Biden won in 2020.
Now I'm going to pause here. Again, great analysis by Glenn Greenwald. Please be sure to follow his work. He's one of the few that speak truth to power, just like Aaron Mate and Max Blumenthal and so many others. Because I want to play this video here. It took place here in Chicago. The Black community are asking Republicans, and yes, they even mentioned third-party candidates to sit down and visit them because they are done with the Democratic Party. So let's play this video for all of you people, because we're mentioning a lot of groups that are leaving the Democratic Party. Democrats, you did this to yourselves. Now you have to own up to it.
Let's have a meet with the Republican Party. If Trump want to come to town, come and meet with us.
Trump 2024.
Come have a meet with us, Trump.
Trump 2024.
We are not going to stand idly by while you starve our community. These are our children, and they will not be targeted while you take and make a better life for a new group that just walked into this country.
And this has to deal with the migrants that are here in Chicago. And unfortunately, while this is a horrifying situation, the city never had anything planned. Not from Rahm Emanuel's administration, not Lightfoot's administration, and not Brandon Johnson's administration. There was no plan. This whole idea of sanctuary cities is a liberal think tank tactic to try and make people feel better and look better against Donald Trump. Well, sanctuary cities have been put to the task, and they have failed. They have failed. We don't have the resources. We just don't. And what should have been the main canary in the coal mine in regards to the failure of sanctuary cities and how bad they are and how much of a bad idea it was was when Martha's Vineyard was the first one put to task. You know, those people in Martha's Vineyard who say, we love everyone. Hate is not in this house. Violence should never be tolerated. Oh boy, they were quick to say, hi, welcome, now get out. You're lowering my property value. Let that be a lesson. Ask the people of Lahaina how they feel about the Democratic Party. I want to pull up this video here. I want to just fast forward here in this video where the third parties are mentioned because they should be mentioned.
Okay, with them taking our resources and giving them to people who don't live here. But now you found money for the minors. Right? We're calling back for any independent candidate in the city of Chicago, any Green Party candidate in the city of Chicago, and any Republican candidate in the city of Chicago. Now is your time because we are done with the Democratic Party.
Yep, people are done. People are angry. People are furious. Voters all across the country are disappointed with the failure of the Democrats, Biden, our elected officials, everything. This whole idea of Trump derangement syndrome or third parties are a threat, independent candidates are a threat. No. The answer is you don't have to be afraid anymore. You can use your voice to speak out. You can use your vote however which way you want. And the data and facts are clear. People want something different. And the Democrats, the way they have controlled this primary so far, well, they're not having any kind of debates. Now, TYT is going to do one today, Wednesday, in response to the GOP debate, but who's going to really tune in? These three lackluster candidates running in the Democratic primary? No. People don't have time for it. They want something different. And in all the polling, especially in swing states, Trump is beating Biden. Now, I don't know what the full power of which third parties will be able to use in regards towards maybe getting an electoral college vote or at least being federally recognized. It would be a miracle to see happen. I hope it does happen. Or is it at getting on the debate stage? That would be great as well. But third parties have a right to hear have their voices heard, and the American people need to know who's running. As it stands right now, the Green Party has 18 to 20 states which they have ballot access. Libertarians around 38 to 40. As for the independents, such as RFK Jr. and Dr. Cornel West, that is yet to be seen. And Donald Trump, he's ahead in the Republican primary. Republican voters made it clear who they want as their nominee. But Democrats, what more do you have? All what you have is your allies in corporate media to say, be afraid. Be afraid. Everything's a danger. Vote for Biden and go back to sleep. The economy is hurting us. We can't make ends meet. And as a final statement here for this segment, the number one issue, despite what you might see in the media, it's going to be the economy, finance, how people are going to get by. That's the one issue, the economy. 2024 won't be the most important election year of our lifetime, but it'll be the most interesting, and I hope funny as well. Stay tuned to Hard Lens Media.